Alright, so I just broke into the no-holds-barred submissions, and let's see what kind of shenanigans we are about to get into. Looks like a pretty standard team, you know, every once in a while you splash in the Mew on the free battle spot, have the Mega Venusaur, and then there's also a Klefki. How is this battle going to play out, especially when it's Klefki leading up against the Blaziken? I mean, if you've got that Iron Defense on the Klefki, you know, you can do it, see where it goes. Also, you know, if it's just like Filth Klefki, go and throw that as well. And it does have the Substitute. Very, very good play on that beginning because, yeah, opponent's going to go, Klefki ain't staying in against me. But now you have a Klefki that has a free Substitute up, which means you can snowball a lot of hate off of that one. And it's going to be speed boost. So it looks like the opponent entering this no holds barred with a pretty straightforward idea as to what's going on. Get in, get Blaziken some Swords Dance, and win. Might have a baton pass into something else, but we're going to see what this Blaziken wants to do, and that's going to be another Swords Dance. Klefki's behind the Substitute, you know, you're in its wheelhouse now, except that's a Toxic. If you're going for Swag Play or Thunder Wave or something like that, you know, that has a chance of having Blaziken just, like, hacks itself into oblivion. But the Poison is a bit more patient, and Klefki actually trying to get a read right there. See, Baton Pass, oh yeah, that's right, because of the Prankster can't Toxic out that Baton Pass. Maybe, but that's why you also don't see the manual switch. So yeah, Blaziken, not that much of a sweeper these days on the battle spot. More or less is a Baton Passer. I actually want to check out the stats on that one here in a bit, but then that's going to be Toxic from Klefki onto the Zygarde. My guess, you know, that's eventually going to be a +4 on the Zygarde's complete form, which is going to be pretty nuts. 1,000 arrows will connect onto the Klefki, but is this what we have for the sub-stall? And also, what is Klefki sitting on for an item, you know? Are we just going to go all the way down, get a Confusion Berry, bounce back up, out Toxic Stall something with it? What could possibly happen? So Klefki also, oh, that's just wrong. Oh, Klefki's been around since the 6th generation. Now we have 2 generations of Klefki. And I don't think I've seen the sub-protect Toxic Klefki. And you can just alternate like that. And then you get in the, and then you get in the perfect amount of hit. You get 6 substitutes, which is also a lot of protect. 12 turns of Toxic adding up. Oh my god. What if Klefki also has the recycle? And you're recycling the Confusion Berry off of sub-protect Toxic. Oh my god. This might be the greatest Klefki ever, and I'm so happy to see it being revealed at the No Holds Barred competition. This is where things are about to get interesting. You sense the presence of many. Yeah, sure, we already, Power Construct, Zygarde's perfect complete form. Okay, we already know that this stuff is going to be happening, but it's still poison and still losing a lot of health per turn. So I don't see that as a big deal. Klefki, we'll take the substitute off of that and then go 1,000 arrows. I mean, the opponent is just dead. Like, if you don't have Steel or Poison, the Klefki is going to be just fine. That's also why you have a Venusaur, so that way if they have a Steel or Poison type Pokemon, you can just stall them out. And imagine that you could also probably like just make it work out perfectly. You know, Poison type Pokemon that's gonna be able to resist either of those pretty well, and then you can like heavy stall tank it. Mew is pretty annoying. A Poison type Pokemon can't be Toxic in return, so you could counter stall. I think that's what the Venusaur is there for. And that Klefki just completely ruined that Zygarde's day. Oh my goodness. Blaziken already lost a touch of health because of that poison. But I mean, it's still poison. So Klefki's going to throw down the substitute, and that's going to be the berry. And my guess is that it can recycle, and then you just protect. It doesn't matter. High jump kick has that chance to miss, but that's whatever. Sub's going to take. Oh man, he's throwing out the high jump kick. Where's his flare blitz? You know, we got baton pass, swords dance, question mark, high jump kick. It can only do so much good for the Blaziken, you know. So that's going to be the protect right there. Yeah, it looks like, you know, Klefki just needs that. It needs to be able to survive. Ooh, that Swords Dance turn not working out for the Klefki, though. I guess the opponent's onto him and trying his best. But yeah, that is the one drawback. That Klefki, I mean, it is pretty hard for Klefki to be in a position where it gets to it KO'd because full invested, go full tank. Also, sorry about that hiccup. I couldn't do anything about that with this commentary. Oh no, never mind. That's not what you want to do. You do not want to Swords Dance when he's trying to go for that substitute. That's when you have to like throw down the damage to break the potential substitute, is what the Blaziken needs to do. Also Dark type Pokemon, right? It's not just Steel Poison. Man, that nerf. But this is disgusting just because of what the berry does. And then now that means Klefki has the opportunity to recycle. When I saw it, I pieced together, I was like, no. Yeah, all it takes, if Klefki cannot be just 2-hit KO'd, so if it's in a 3-hit KO range as a full tank invested Pokemon, it effectively gets to live forever and then Toxic Stall the entire team. And if it doesn't Toxic Stall the entire team, you still have ways of dealing with it. I guess the Mew isn't the best because a Dark type Pokemon isn't going to fall to those prankster games. But really all you have to do is just have this Klefki status all the opponent, and then you play a stall Pokemon that stops Poison and Steel and a stall Pokemon that stops Dark, and you should be just fine. That's going to be Deoxys now. And again, Deoxys actually kind of sucks for the Venusaur. So Klefki is going to get down the Toxic. Is going to have the things happen, the berry's going to do a thing, and then it gets to Protect forever, and then Toxic just gets nasty and ramps up. Like, even just like sub-protect Toxic, you know, I don't even see that. I think this is like the first time I've ever seen people just be that filthy before, maybe the second, and I completely deleted it from my memory because it's that terrifying. Because yeah, that just, it's so annoying to play against, because by the time, even on a full hit point bar, you know, that's so many turns. So many turns. And then they died to poison. And the opponent just could not deal with it anymore. Let's get on to the next battle. Do we even want to watch this submission? The no holds barred competition means that you are free to kind of do whatever you want. So let's see what happens with the Eelektross. Are they each going to be a different moveset, different items, or just going to be the same thing? Like, hey, I'm going to throw out 3 Pokemon without a weakness. Try and stop me. I think that's what people are getting at with this one, but we'll see where it goes. Are we gonna see a troll, you know, floating in on the air balloon? But no, it looks like he's gonna swap out the Eelektross to go into a better suited Eelektross as Klefki gets the free substitute. Is the opponent just going to play the switcheroo game forever? No! It looks like these might actually be different Eelektross movesets. Like, one is anti-stall, one is just beatdown, one is rest talk, or something like that. I don't know. I don't know quite what's going on. And flamethrower. See, that's one of the interesting things about Eelektross. Has that super effective flamethrower. Does some surprisingly weird things with it for sure. Klefki needs a buff. I'm just gonna go out and say that because I was thinking about it, and you know what? If Klefki just had like better defensive stats, this would be an even more fun and reliable strategy. Because one thing I like about Klefki, you know, you get Prankster Iron Defense, Prankster Calm Mind, Prankster Thunder Wave, so you can make it to where it becomes really hard for the opponent to KO you. But with this, you know, it's just relying on the natural defenses, and you have quite a bit of weaknesses as a Klefki, unfortunately. You know, the typing's solid, but you see a lot of ground and fire, and that's just going to give you problems. So, yeah. Substitute's going to take damage from the Klefki. Azure's fine. Sub's going to fade. And then things are going to happen. So, Life Orb, offensive Eelektross, actually going to burn himself down just a little bit quicker with that Toxic, which kind of makes things pretty interesting. Klefki with the Protect. And then Flamethrower. See, like, the second I see this, I know what's going to happen. It actually kind of blows my mind that the opponent can't catch on to this. And I don't know if you could figure a way around it, but I think, like, with the Blaziken, you know, you just pressure the Klefki. You just keep throwing off hits and hope that it doesn't get the opportunity to bury it back. But then at the same time, you know, it could double protect, which could be really nasty. You know, that high jump kick that high jump kick recoil damage is pretty bad. So that means Eelektross is gone. It went for a couple flamethrowers, just lost unnecessary health. Poison, Toxic added up, and it was gone. So that's gonna be it. Eelektross comes in once again. And what is this one gonna do? And if it's all the same, I have no idea why the opponent, you know, switched out except to just be Master Troll. So there we go. That's gonna be Klefki restoring his health into Berry, substitute, all kinds of fun stuff like that. Facade. Looks like there's a physical status hiding in the mix. Cool. But the Toxic didn't happen, so the Facade didn't matter. That's kind of funny. It didn't even break Sub. That's extra funny. That's extra silly. What's the opponent's response going to be to this one? Also, yeah, like, how long does it take to take a Pokemon down with Poison if they don't have any sustain? Like, I would expect leftovers on an Eelektross at some point. You know, just a little bit extra. Try to give it that bulk. We'll see what happens. So yeah, none of that fun stuff going on. It takes out that Eelektross to go into the other one. Doesn't Eelektross have the opportunity, like, the ability to taunt? Unfortunately, you can't really do that against Klefki. You know, it's always got that sub up. It's always going to be playing it very protective. Maybe on a recycle turn if you could predict that when sub isn't up. But that would kind of be it. And then that means it's like, it's trying to recycle, so that means you need to get it done. Discharge. Alright. Don't really know what to say. Opponent's pretty much just wrecked at this point. Like, how do you stop this? Like, how do you... I guess, yeah, I know how you stop it. Because, alright, like I said, you get your X amount of turns from your one and only Aguav Berry, and if you're in a range where you're going to get 3-hit KO'd, so yeah, you just stop it by, you know, you let it go through. You let it go through, you hit it with some normal Pokemon, but then you save your strongest Pokemon. Then you save the thing that can actually kill the Klefki after you've already lost Pokemon. So you have to sacrifice some of that Klefki. You just have to. And then maybe you can catch it on an Aguav turn or a recycle turn or something like that. So we go, guys. That was disgusting. That actually blew my mind. Way to go. So guys, enjoy the video, and I'll see you in the next Fan Fridays.